Here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. If you achieved every goal on your list tomorrow, would you actually be happy? The answer might surprise you because deep down, many of us know that the answer could be no. Research shows our brains actually reset happiness levels shortly after we achieve success, which explains why that promotion or new house you got didn't deliver the lasting fulfillment which you expected. Now, we've been sold a version of success that promises fulfillment but delivers emptiness instead. Today, I want to show you why this happens to so many of us, and more importantly, how you can break free from the cycle before you burn out or lose sight on what truly matters. The answer starts with understanding something most of us never question. I call something called a success factory, which is the main creator of this problem. What is the success factory? We're all shaped by early programming frameworks which we didn't consciously choose. Most of us don't even know they're there. From the moment you could walk, you were placed on a conveyor belt designed to produce a very specific type of person. Someone who works hard, buys things, measures their worth by external achievements. Now, this isn't an accident. It's a feature, not a bug. Our society operates like a massive factory. And you, my dear friend, are the product being manufactured. The blueprint is simple. Create people who chase promotions, buy houses they cannot barely afford, and tie their identity to their job title. The system doesn't care if you're happy. It cares if you're productive and you're ever consuming. When you feel empty despite checking all the success boxes and the metrics, that's not your failure. That's the system working exactly as it was planned and designed. Think about your earliest memories of achievement. Gold stars on homework from primary school, your class rankings, and you being kind of encouraged to reach the top, honor rolls posted for everyone to see, so that there is a kind of an invisible encouragement to compare yourself with another. Now, research on adolescent development shows that young people consistently equate their self-worth with grades and external recognition. You learned that your worth came from external validation long before you even knew what the term validation meant. Schools don't just teach math and reading to you. They teach you to compete, compare, and seek approval from authority figures. It's all about compliance, isn't it? By the time you graduate, you spend 12 years or more training to be the very perfect employee and consumer. The programming continues well into college and university, where students rack up debt, pursuing degrees that promise status more than fulfillment. Universities market themselves like luxury brands, convincing you that the right school name on your resume or your certificate will unlock this mysterious happiness which you seek. You learn to network instead of building genuine relationships. You study what would look impressive rather than what actually sparks your curiosity. Now, the message is very clear. Your authentic interests matter less and less than your marketable skills. Consumer culture takes this foundation and builds an empire on top of it. It makes it worse. Extensive marketing research identifies your deep insecurities and sells you products incessantly that promise to fix it. The next car will make you successful, or at least look successful. These clothes will make you feel more attractive. the gadgets which will make you more complete. You buy the solution and feel briefly satisfied. Then you discover the next upgrade is due, and what you have is not good anymore. This cycle isn't ever broken. It's profitable. Work culture has evolved to make your job the center of your identity in ways previous generations never ever experienced. You don't just have a job anymore. You have a career that defines who you are as a person. When someone asks what you do, they're really asking who you are. This creates a dangerous dependency where your self-worth rises and falls with your professional achievements or the employment you hold for this month. Lose your job and you lose yourself. Get passed over for promotion and you question your value as a human being. Now, social media amplifies this programming by turning your entire life into performance metrics. Your vacation photos compete for likes. Your career updates seek validation through comments on LinkedIn. It's a bit sad, isn't it? Your relationship status becomes public scorekeeping. You finally curate a highlight reel that barely resembles your actual experience. Then you feel inadequate, comparing your reality to everyone else's performance. The platforms profit from your insecurity by selling your attention to advertisers who promise their products will close the gap between who you are and who you think you should be. Now, you might find that recognizing this pattern explains so much about your life. The anxiety when you're not being productive, the guilt when you rest, the constant feeling that you should be doing more, earning more, achieving more. These aren't character flaws, they're predictable responses to a system that profits from your perpetual dissatisfaction. The factory that produced you was never designed for your happiness. Research from Maslow's hierarchy shows that true fulfillment comes from self-actualization and intrinsic motivation, not external rewards. Your emptiness isn't evidence that you're broken or ungrateful. It's evidence that you're merely human. And humans weren't meant to find meaning in external achievements alone. The very fact that you feel unfulfilled despite success means your authentic self is still alive underneath all that programming. Something inside you knows there's more to life than that. Now, that inner voice that whispers, there has to be another way, isn't your weakness. It's your wisdom trying to guide you home to yourself. Recognizing this programming is the very first step to breaking free from it. But understanding the system is just the very beginning. There's something even more fundamental happening inside your mind that keeps you trapped in the cycle, and it's been working against you your entire life. And that, my dear friend, is a happiness treadmill that never stops. Your brain is actually working against your happiness, and it's been doing this your whole life without you knowing. Every time you achieve something you thought would make you feel better, your brain quietly resets your happiness levels back to where it started. Now, this isn't a cruel joke. It's a survival mechanism that kept our ancestors alive, but now keeps you perpetually unsatisfied in the modern world. Scientists call this hedonic adaptation or the hedonic treadmill, and it explains why that promotion you worked so hard for only made you happy for a few weeks before feeling all normal again. Your brain treats every achievement like a temporary spike in your emotional temperature, then works to bring you back to baseline rapidly. This happens whether you get a raise, buy your dream car, or move into your very perfect home. You adapt to your new circumstances faster than you ever imagined possible. Let me share with you one of the most eye-opening pieces of research about human happiness. Psychologists studied lottery winners to see how winning millions of dollars affected their long-term well-being over 18 months. That's a year and a half. What they discovered challenged everything we believe about money and happiness. Within the time frame, most lottery winners reported being no happier than they were before their windfall. Isn't that amazing? Their brains had adapted to having wealth, and suddenly having millions felt as normal as their previous broke financial situation. The uncomfortable truth is that the promotion, house, relationship you think will finally make you happy will likely leave you feeling the very same within a few months. Your brain doesn't care that you worked for years to achieve these goals. It simply readjusts, resets your happiness thermostat back to its original setting very rapidly, and it starts looking for the next thing to want. Evolution designed our brains for survival, not satisfaction. Evolutionary psychology shows us that ancestors who desired more resources had adaptive advantages in environments of scarcity. The humans who survived and passed on their genes were the ones who always wanted more. We inherited their restless brains that constantly scanned for what's missing rather than appreciating what's present in our lives. Your brain operates like a sophisticated wanting machine that never stops running. Neuroscience research shows dopamine spikes drive pursuit but don't sustain happiness once you've achieved it. Now, this system worked perfectly when humans lived in environments where resources were scarce and threats were constant. But in a modern world of abundance, the same mechanism creates endless dissatisfaction. Modern society exploits this brain wiring by constantly dangling the next achievement, purchase, or milestone as the long desired solution you've always been looking for. Advertisers understand hedonic adaptation better than you do. They know you'll adapt to any product you buy, so they are already marketing the upgraded version before you even started to enjoy the current version. The fashion industry creates new trends every season. Why? Because they know you'll get bored of last year's style in due course. You might find that understanding the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation explains why some activities leave you feeling completely empty, but then others create lasting satisfaction. Extrinsic motivators like money, status symbols, and social recognition trigger hedonic adaptation. You achieve them, feel briefly satisfied, then return to baseline happiness levels. These external rewards can never fill the deeper human needs that create genuine fulfillment. Now, intrinsic motivators, on the other hand, work differently in your brain. When you pursue autonomy, mastery, and purpose, you engage with activities that provide ongoing satisfaction rather than temporary spikes. Isn't that remarkable? Learning a new skill gives you a sense of growth that doesn't fade. Having control over your daily choices creates a sustainable sense of empowerment. Now, contributing to something meaningful connects you to values that transcend personal achievement. Consider this perspective. You've been chasing things that provide temporary highs while neglecting the activities that create lasting well being. You work overtime for a bonus that'll stop feeling special within weeks. But then you are neglecting hobbies that could provide years of enjoyment. You are buying clothes to impress others at events you'll forget, but you skip conversations with friends who actually matter to you. Understanding how your brain works is the key to working with it instead of against it. You can't stop hedonic adaptation, it's built within you, but you can choose what to adapt to. When you align your daily activities with intrinsic values rather than external rewards, you create a foundation for fulfillment that doesn't depend on constantly achieving new milestones. But there's another force making this even more harder, one that surrounds us every day and makes us question whether anything we do is ever enough. I'm talking about the mirror that shows everyone else's highlight reel. Social media promises us to bring us together, but instead it has created the largest comparison laboratory in human history till date. Every day you measure your messy behind the scenes reality against everyone else's carefully curated highlight reels. Your morning struggles become failures when compared to someone's perfect breakfast photo or their perfect family photograph, their perfect vacation. Your ordinary Tuesday feels inadequate next to someone's vacation post from last month. This constant comparison hijacks your natural ability to appreciate your own small progress made. And it finally creates a perpetual sense of failing behind or falling behind in a race which you never agreed to enter. Your brain wasn't designed to process information about hundreds of people's achievements, purchases, and experiences every single day. No, when you scroll through social media, you're forcing your mind to compare your life to an impossible standard created by combining the very best moments from thousands of different people's lives. You might find that this comparison trap extends far beyond your phone screen into every corner of your daily existence. You drive through neighborhoods and automatically rank your house against another. You attend work meetings and measure your contributions against colleagues who seem more confident at that meeting. You go to social gatherings and evaluate your success against friends who appear to have everything figured out. The comparison mindset becomes so automatic that you barely notice you're doing it. Consider this perspective. Comparison triggers stress responses linked to feelings of inadequacy. When you see someone with a nicer car, think about this. Your ancient brain circuits interpret this as evidence that you're falling behind in the resource competition. Or when a former classmate of yours posts about their promotion, your nervous system is responding as if your very own security has been threatened. These reactions happen faster than conscious thought and create real physical stress in your body. Research shows that people who spend more time on social media report higher levels of depression, anxiety, and loneliness, particularly among younger adults. The comparison culture doesn't make you feel bad emotionally, it creates genuine psychological distress that affects your brain chemistry and overall health. Your cortisol levels spike when you see others succeeding. Your dopamine pathways get hijacked by the need for likes and comments. Your sleep patterns suffer because your mind keeps processing social comparisons long after your phone has been shut down. FOMO, or the fear of missing out, can drive choices based on appearance rather than personal fulfillment. You choose restaurants because they're Instagram worthy rather than because you enjoy the food. You take jobs that sound good in conversation than the ones that actually align with your real interests. You plan vacations to create content rather than rest and recharge. Your authentic preferences get buried finally under layers of social performance. Imagine if you spent as much energy discovering your real values as you spent monitoring other people's achievement. You become so focused on keeping up that you lost touch with where you actually want to go. The comparison mindset makes you reactive instead of intentional. Instead of asking what would make you fulfilled, you ask what would make you look successful. Now, this comparison culture teaches you to outsource your self worth to external validation. You feel good about yourself when you get more likes than usual. You feel bad when others seem to be doing better. Your emotional state becomes dependent on variables completely outside your control or remit. You hand over the power to determine your happiness to social media platforms that profit from keeping you engaged constantly rather than ever being happy. You deserve to know that comparison is not just helpful, it's actually actively preventing you from discovering what would actually make you fulfilled. When you're constantly looking sideways at what others have, you can't look inward at what you need. When you're focused on keeping up appearances, you can't focus on building a life that feels authentic to you. Now, breaking free from comparison culture is essential for developing an internal compass that guides you to authentic success and genuine happiness. This means spending less time consuming others' curated content and more time creating experiences that matter to you. You need to become a creator and move from a consumer. It means measuring your progress against your past rather than just against others' highlight reels. Understanding these powerful forces working against your happiness is the beginning. Now you can finally start building something better, but it requires something most people in a noisy world have forgotten how to do. In conclusion, the most radical thing you can do in a world obsessed with external success is to get quiet enough to hear what your own heart and mind is telling you about what really matters. Your authentic voice has been buried under years of programming, but now it's still there waiting for you to listen. I challenge you to spend the next week keeping a simple journal with just two columns: moments of true satisfaction versus validation seeking actions. Two columns alone. Now notice the difference in your body, your energy, your sense of peace when you compare these experiences. At least make like 10 points. That's it for this week. 10 points, two columns. You can do that. Once you recognize these patterns, you hold the power to choose differently. Understanding how societal pressures have shaped your definition of success gives you the clarity and the power to build a new life aligned with your authentic values rather than the external expectations of old. And I wish you the very best in your new journey. Thank you.